Susan Beth, and you are listening to the She Is podcast, where we talk about living life intentionally and about trusting that the desires you have deep within you are there for a reason. I believe that the creator of the universe put those desires within you and that they are pathways to your purpose. My desire is that this would be a space that encourages you to lean in and to hear the whispers of the divine, and that you would be reminded of things that I honestly believe you already know. That you, my friend, are here for a reason. So if you're here for more conversations in that kind of space, welcome. Let's go. Happy first day of winter, friends. I know that many of you probably won't be listening to this episode on this official first day of winter, as most are in full Christmas preparation and celebration mode already. But whenever things do settle down a little bit, I'm hoping that you'll join me in welcoming this new season that is upon us. And today's episode, I feel like it might have a little different tone to it, maybe a tad more reflective. And I'm thinking that maybe it's because I've been deep in the season of all things winter already. And I will admit, I am well aware that some of you, let's say, are repelled maybe by the darkness of a winter season and much prefer flowery words and thoughts and the brighter colors, and that's okay. I get it. And we'll probably connect more in a greater way in a few months as spring comes back around. But for all of my fellow Enneagram 4s and deep feelers that grew up longing and loving watching sad movies that would make us bawl our eyes out, I really think that you're going to love walking through this winter season together. And as a heads up, if you haven't already received your winter journal, the artwork for the weekly focuses do include darker hues, and that's on purpose. And if that's not you, I would love to remind you of something that I've heard from a few of you as you've walked through several of the seasons with the journal this year. And one of the things that you expressed was kind of being surprised as you walked through a season that was previously one of your not so favorite seasons, and you intentionally were walking through it differently. And because you chose to intentionally walk through it in a different way, you actually experienced the season differently and actually enjoyed it more and in a different way than you had before. And that just couldn't make me any happier to hear that. Looking back, I was always a reflective person, a deep feeler. And that can feel like a liability when your feelings appear too much and you're frequently told that you're too sensitive. So over time, I began to try and to contain and to cram all of the thoughts and the feelings running strong in my heart and mind in a similar way that we try to cram our bodies into something that's too small or too tight, a pair of pants or jeans. It's uncomfortable. I know many of you know what I'm talking about. It's uncomfortable. And the process alone of cramming ourselves into that is uncomfortable alone. That process right there alone is uncomfortable. But sadly, it doesn't end for us there, because then we proceed to have to live out and walk through our days contained and crammed into something that we were never meant to fit in or be confined by. So we show up uncomfortable in our homes and in our workplaces. And most importantly, we show up uncomfortable in our relationship with our Creator. We are agitated from the start with everything and everyone because of the discomfort that we are walking around inside of. And what I can see more clearly now in the looking back is that it wasn't in the easy seasons of life where I found freedom and growth, but it's been out of the discomfort of walking through dark winter seasons. And we can tend to think, if only I wasn't having to deal with this, then life would feel easy and good. And then one day we realize that winter is this mysterious mix of solitude and wonder. The darkness of the season, it brings an invitation to solitude and stillness, an invitation to being still with God and ourselves. And it takes courage to get still and to be seen. Seen not in the way that we desire and hope to be seen, but seen and known fully by the one who knows us better than we know ourselves. And I think that there can be a disconnect and a struggle within us in our relationship with God if we aren't honest at looking at how we are showing up and connecting with God. God is God, and He is all-knowing, yet we aren't fully experiencing connection with Him when we aren't allowing all of who we are to be seen and loved and strengthened in His presence. When we show up wearing a mask and trying to appear presentable before God, we are holding on to the places and the spaces within us that need to be seen and healed. Real, honest connection requires vulnerability and radical honesty with God and with ourselves. And I get it, that can feel scary, and we don't want to always go there and to feel all of the feelings. But I promise you, God will meet you right there, right where you honestly are, in the midst of all of your fears and insecurities and shame. And I get that it can feel easier to stay busy and to stay distracted and tell yourself that you don't have time to stop and to get still. It feels easier and safer to cling to these narratives that we have created in our hearts and minds around situations and circumstances and relationships in our lives, instead of getting still and getting honest and allowing the Spirit of God to shine light in the darkness in our souls and over any false narratives that we are clinging to. When there is healing and there's wholeness, when we are willing to show up and surrender our stories. Winter seasons are a shout to our souls to stop and to surrender when the whispers to get still have been ignored by us, by our busyness and the distractions that we choose over connection with our Creator and ourselves, which is the foundation of everything. This connection with our Creator and ourselves. It's the foundation of everything that flows out of us and touches everything that our life touches. It's only when we are fully present with God and fully present with the truth of who we are that we can fully and honestly show up and be present with others. Jesus said that this was the greatest of all the commandments, for us to love God and to love others as we love ourselves. So this Sunday, it's going to be the first Sunday of us walking through the winter seasonal journal together. And it's not too late to grab one if you've been thinking about it, and you can find ordering information in the show notes. And you obviously don't need to have a journal to follow along through the Sunday episodes that will be starting this week. But it is a nice resource that adds even more focus and intention. And I thought that I would maybe do something that I haven't done at the start of a season. I thought that I would share some of the weekly focuses found in the winter journal. And so I'm looking at mine right here. And week 1 is talking about how life is seasons. And that's actually the first chapter in every seasonal journal, just reminding us that we can't escape that life is seasons, and we are going to cycle through all of them at different times in our life. And week 2 is welcome winter. Us intentionally stopping in and welcoming winter and a new season into our life Week 3, when it all falls away. Obviously, we are walking out of a fall and an autumn season, and so we talk about that. Week 4, darkness. Week 5, solitude. Week 6, nothing to hide. Week 7, rooted. Week 8, barren to beautiful. Week 9, weathering winter. Talk about how we can prepare ourselves for the winter seasons that are going to come for all of us. Week 10, covered. Week 11, identity. Week 12, reflections, or looking back on what winter seasons bring to our life. And then week 13, preparing for the next season. And I know for all of us, we obviously wouldn't choose the darkness of winter season. But as I declare and state for all of the seasons that we walk through, there is beauty to be found in every season of our life. And my prayer today is that we will surrender our expectations and that we will fully trust that His ways are not like our ways, and we will look for and choose to see His hand that is leading us and is upholding us through every moment of the season that we're going to walk through. I love you guys. Welcome to winter, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, you. Thanks for listening. And if you would like to connect more, head over to susanbeth.com and sign up, and you will be one of the first to find out about anything new. Plus, there's a special free download available just to say thanks. If something in this episode did speak to you, would you do me a favor and share it with a friend that you think it might resonate with as well? And until next time, keep showing up in the world just as God purposed you to do, because you being you is exactly what we all need.